My name is Mary Ann Jensen. This is my original oratory for the 2025-26 season. My title is The Seam Ripper Society. There's a dress hiding in the back of my closet with a seam that's been ripped and re-sewn so many times the fabric is beyond repair. It's one I purchased before I joined the Miss America organization. At first, it was just the hem, too long, then the back zipper, too tight, then the neckline, the sleeves, the sparkle, until one day I realized this dress barely looked like me anymore. It had been altered to fit an idea of me that wasn't mine. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about the dress, this was about my life. Because society doesn't just ask us to fit, it hands us a pattern. And when we don't match it perfectly, we're unstitched, taken in, let out, until we either fit or fall apart. Today, let's talk about what I call the Seam Ripper Society. First, the invisible forces that tailor us into versions of ourselves we never asked to be. Second, how this repatterning hurts more than it helps. And finally, how we can stop altering who we are and start owning our original designs. From the time we're born, the world starts measuring us literally and metaphorically. Percentile charts when we're babies, Lexile numbers in elementary, report cards in middle, PSATs, SATs, ACTs, AP tests in high school, along with rankings, likes, followers, views. We learn early that approval is tied to how well we fit the pattern. Wear this, say that. Don't be too loud, but be confident. Don't be too intelligent, but be smart, be confident, and be yourself, but not like that. Greta Gerwig covered this in her 2023 blockbuster hit, Barbie the Movie, with a powerful monologue delivered by America Ferrera. You have to never show off, never be rude, never fall down, never show fear. It's too hard, it's too contradictory, and nobody ever gives you a medal or says thank you. A 2022 study by the University of Houston found that adolescents who feel pressure to conform report significantly higher anxiety and significantly lower self-esteem, not because they're doing anything wrong, but because they feel like they're always being adjusted. Personally, I've been asked to soften my opinions in speech rounds, told as a black belt that my Taekwondo routine was too unconventional for a pageant stage. I even heard a girl say that I should get hair extensions because my hair is too short. At some point, you stop asking, what do I love? And start asking, what's expected of me? That's not self-expression. That's sewing yourself into someone else's silhouette. Now, you might be thinking, what's the harm in a few tweaks? My evening gown for the Miss Utah's teen pageant last year was beautiful. A sparkly velvet blue mermaid gown covered in iridescent sequins. I loved it, but it was too long. I had to get it hemmed. I adjusted it so it fit me. But my other dress, I changed it so it fit the organization. And here's the thing about constant alterations. Eventually, they weaken the fabric. And that damage goes deeper than fashion. Take a look at school dress codes. According to the National Women's Law Center, girls, especially girls of color, are disproportionately punished for dress code violations. Not because their clothes are inappropriate, but because their bodies don't fit the pattern. Or take a look at book bans. In the 2022-23 school year alone, schools across 33 states banned or restricted access to 1,557 unique titles, targeting stories that were too political, too offensive, too queer, stories that didn't match the approved cut. That's not tailoring, that's silencing. And every time we try and fit someone into a mold that wasn't made for them, or we tell them they're wrong for showing up as they are, eventually they stop showing up at all. The National Center for Health Statistics shows that US suicide rates are up 37% since the year 2000. And Utah has the 7th highest rates nationwide. When we tailor society, we sew mouths shut. I know what it's like to want to belong in society. Be on the runway, not in the audience. You start tailoring yourself bit by bit, piece by piece, and hope and pray that no one notices the thread unraveling. I joined the Miss America organization in 2024. I joined because I wanted to. My whole life, I looked for opportunities where I could put myself out there. Publishing my first book at 11 years old. Creating my own Instagram profile at Books by Marianne. Achieving my first degree black belt in Taekwondo. Heck, even joining the NSDA. But this was the ultimate opportunity. The moment I received my sash, my glowing reflection was proof that I belonged. But as I dove into pageant prep, that's when the sparkle started to dim. I had never competed in a pageant before. I hadn't even watched one. I had watched Miss Congeniality, but I don't think that really counts. I realized I had a lot to learn, but as I met with pageant coaches, pageant officials, girls who had competed before, I realized I had a lot to change. I needed a spray tan. I'm not a dancer. My walk is too casual, and my talent, too out there. So I booked the spray tan, glued on the false lashes, put on some hair extensions, glued on some fake nails, and hoped and prayed that everyone wouldn't see the thread unraveling. As I sat in my basement one day, I opened my computer, waiting for my interview coach to hop onto Zoom. But the girl in the Zoom camera didn't look like me. She looked like everything the pageant world wanted her to be. The false eyelashes, the fake nails, the spray tan, the hair extensions, the shapewear. And I realized this started to trickle into my real life too. I was no longer Mary Ann Jensen. I was trying to wear too many hats and crowns on my head. The bubbly pageant girl, the serious student, the creative writer who never ran out of ideas, the fierce black belt, the speech kid who could win a round with a well-timed eyebrow raise. At first, it worked. People clapped, smiled, said she's so well put together. But what they didn't see were those invisible seam rips. The nights I stayed up late rewriting speeches to sound more like what wins. The friends I drifted from because I felt like I was too much. And the part of me that wondered if the real me, the unfiltered, book-loving, opinionated, Barbie-collecting, Marvel-watching, Doctor Who quoting me was just too couture to be taken seriously. Between rounds 2 and 3 at a speech and debate tournament, I was reapplying my lipstick in the bathroom. But the girl in the bathroom mirror didn't look like me. Not because of the bun, the blazer, the bold lipstick, not because of the spray tan or the fake nails. Those were the changes I liked. But because I'd stopped showing up as myself, I became a patchwork of what everyone else wanted me to be. And the thing is, even she didn't win. So that's when I realized if I was gonna lose, I might as well lose as myself. So I did something scary. I started writing like I actually talk. I kept my hair short. I stopped apologizing for sparkle. And I gave the kind of speech that didn't just score points, it meant something to me. And it meant something to someone else too. Because a girl came up to me after a round with tears in her eyes and whispered, "Thank you." That was the first time I felt seen. And that's when I realized I didn't need to fit the pattern. I just needed to wear it proud enough for others to find theirs. So, how do we push back against the seam ripper society? We stop altering ourselves for approval. Because you and everyone else in this round was not made to be one size fits all. You were meant to be flawed, fierce, and full of unexpected stitching. So if society hands you a seam ripper and says, "Here's who you should be," don't accept it. Tell them, "Actually, I like my cut just fine." There's a dress hiding in the back of my closet. It doesn't quite fit, but it tells the stories of all the times I tried to. And now, I'm keeping those seams just the way they are, because I'm not here to be trimmed, hemmed, or hidden. I'm not here to be tailored to taste. I'm here to remind the world that beauty isn't in fitting the pattern, it's in the fabric itself. So if you feel like society's been cutting you out or sewing you in, don't change the pattern, change the runway.